Hi everyone, welcome to UPSC Tree. I am very excited to announce that we are launching our Geography optional series and it is going to be the unparalleled series. I'll tell you why, and in this video I will be going to discuss how our Geography optional series is going to be unparalleled across India. I am going to bet my name on it. So let's begin. First important question before us is why geography? Why students take geography as optional? Is it a scoring one? Yes. Is it can there is there is vast group of resource available? Yes. But most importantly, if you look at geography, it has a maximum coverage with your syllabus. If you want to understand a particular region, the physical aspect of a region and the human aspect of a region. When I say human aspect, it might be say the politics of the region, the economy of the region, the social ethnic build-up of a region, or the environment of a region, anything will have a geographical answer to it. Okay, that's why geography is very important for all the planners in India and across the world. Appraisal of geographical feature of a region helps you plan better. Okay, and second, it helps you with your current affairs and world events. Suppose you are reading about Syria, or you are reading about Golden Heights, or you are reading about Sinai Peninsula, or you are reading about the Great Barrier Reef. If you don't know where it is, there is no point. Okay, geography that's why there is a saying that without geography we are all lost. So geography primary concern is where the things are. Then we'll go ahead and do why the things are where they are. But that is a different aspect altogether. Okay. And most importantly, if you look at geography, there is a saying that geography sets history in motion. Geography determines where a civilization is going to be there, where there is going to be wars, where there is going to be a famine, drought, etc., civil war, etc. Everything, every phenomena that we encompass or come across today can be explained through geography. Let me give you an example. This might sound like an exaggeration. Let me give you an example. How we are going to deal with geography. As your mentor, I will tell you what I am going to do with you. Pay attention because it is going to change the way you read, understand and answer geography. As your mentor, what I am going to do and what is my first objective will be to help you develop a geographical bent of mind. How I am going to do that? Let's begin. Let's discuss geography then. Let's say you are reading about Afghanistan crisis. Okay. So, you might be reading a lot of things, lot of articles have been coming up regarding Afghanistan. But is there a geographical answer to Afghanistan? Yes, it is. And it is the most crucial answer to Afghanistan. Why Afghanistan is a failed state or whatever is happening in Afghanistan, why it is happening there and not other parts of the world. That is why geography is important, or that is why geography comes into picture and makes you understand the most crucial aspect of these things. Okay, that is the reason why I told you geography sets history in motion. So if you look at Afghanistan as a country, the middle part of the Afghanistan is dominated by Hindu Kush mountains. In the eastern region we have Pamir mountains. The southern part is desert. If you look at the climate, it is semi-arid mostly. Most of the area experience drought all the time. And how the settlements, if you look at the settlement geography of that region, it is very sparsely populated because it is a rugged country, landlocked country, mountainous country, difficult terrain. There is no river, big river such, so it cannot, and there is no fertile tracts of land, so it cannot sustain a vast population. And by very nature of its geography, it's not going to be a rich country sooner. So unless and until it changes its economy altogether. So that is the reason why Afghanistan is a failed state today. If you look at history of India too, why Babur invaded India is an important question. Even though it is a question in history, in the geography we will find the real answer. If you look at geography, Babur, when he became a king, he inherited a kingdom of nothingness. See, to run a country or a kingdom, the king needs a lot of tax, a lot of money to run it. and the tax is paid by the people. But if there is not many people inhabiting that region, so the tax revenue is very less. And if you look at the geography of that region, that most of the people are poor, and it is very sparsely populated, only around 56 to 60 people per square kilometer, the population density. So that is the reason why it is very difficult to govern this country or rule this country, because the geography, when I say geography, the physical geography is tough or difficult, so is the human geography, because the nature determines the physical environment determines the social environment and economic environment and other aspect of that region. So Afghanistan not soon, that is the reason why Afghanistan is a failed state today. Civil wars are going on. Socially and ethnically it is a diverse country, because if you look at geography, Hindu Kush mountain is there. So there is isolation between provinces, and when there is isolation, it promotes diversity. And when there is diversity, much of the time there is conflict as well. Okay. So we can understand Afghanistan from a geographical perspective. And when this kind of issue, not only Afghanistan, any issue that we confront today, my objective will be to help you develop or analyze this particular issue from a geographical perspective. That is what I call the geographical bent of mind. I'm not done with you. So let's get to the second example. Recently, Neeraj Chopra has won the gold medal in javelin. So we know that he won it, but is there a geographical reason behind it? Is there a real answer hidden somewhere in geography that we can find out? And can we do a Neeraj Chopra in geography? So let's look at it. If you look at Neeraj Chopra, he comes from a region called Panipat, and this region is a settlement near a river bank, Yamuna river bank, and for javelin, what you need as a sports person, you don't need strong legs, you need strong hands or strong arms. So the people who are living, through their ancestry, who are living in river banks, they have been using the boats, and also they have to swim as well. So eventually, if you look at the evolutionary history, eventually the people living in coastal region, living on river banks, develop strong chest and strong arms. It is by very design of nature and very design of the needs of the nature. So he is coming from Panipat region, which is essentially on the bank of a river, and also we know that 3 battles have been fought in Panipat. So the geographical answer is that he is going to have a strong arm as compared to any other person from India. Okay. So that's why he has strong arms, because the evolutionary history determined it to be. Obviously, there are other techniques, trainings and all other things that goes into winning a gold medal. But to begin with this particular sports, you need to have a strong arm, and that is he has inherited, or this is not something he has created over a day. This comes from as an evolutionary inheritance. That's where geography matters. So we can do a Neeraj Chopra in geography and look at this matter holistically. In similar fashion, if you want best football players in India, it is no surprise that most of our football players come from northeastern region. Why? This is the mountainous region. People living over there, through ages, through their evolutionary history, developed strong legs, and football as a sport demands strong legs. That's why best of our football players will come from mountainous region, not from the coastal region or river banks. We will not find best of our football players from Chennai or Mumbai or all other river bank or Gangetic Valley or that region. We'll find them in the mountains, in the hilly terrains. Okay, that is why geography matters. Let's take a historical question and try to find a geographical answer. One interesting aspect in World War II is that Hitler sent a huge troops to Russia, but Hitler could not capture it, even though his troops were miles away from Moscow. Why is that? The climatology has answer. When Hitler and his generals were planning the Russian conquest, they thought that by the summer we will be done with or we will overpower Russia. However, they were in a big surprise. They did not account between Germany and Russia. There is a huge forest, marshlands, rivers, etc. are there, which slowed down the movement of the troops. By the time the Hitler's army reached Russia, there was autumn, and in autumn there was a snowfall. And what happens in Russia, and especially in Russian winter, is that because the snowfall mixes with the soil and creates something called Rasputista. What does that mean? It is called the general mud. So the muddy condition acted as a barrier for the Hitler army to advance. Okay, they could not move their vehicles, they could not move their troops. So they were hugely constrained because of this. And secondly, the Russian winter was very harsh as well, and vehicles, the lubricants and tanks and the lubricants did not work as well. So the giant army of the Hitler were shivering in the Russian cold. That was the sight to watch and behold. That is the reason why the Hitler army could not take over Russia, and most important reason is geography. So geography is important not only to win wars, not only to understand things, but also as a policy maker, future policy maker, it is very important to understand geography of a particular region, the physical geography as well as the human geography, so that you can do justice to the planning, whether it is planning for war or planning for development or anything. Planning begins with geography. That is what I am trying to convey you. And geographical bent of mind is very important while you are a policymaker or a bureaucrat. I have gave you a lot of examples. So is geography now interesting enough for you, or shall I go on? I can go on because it is endless. And the more I think, the more examples I will come up with. So geography has answered why people build cities where they build, why people live where they live, why people do what they do, why some countries are rich, why some countries are poor, why some countries are developed, why some countries are underdeveloped, why particular community, tribal communities well to do, why while other tribal communities in India are not very well to do. All the answers can be found in geography. And when I say geography, it is not only the rivers and lakes and the mountains. Geography is not that. Geography is much more than that. It also takes into account, as I told you before, politics, economy, society, ethnicity, everything, demography, everything. So that's why geography is sum total of your knowledge of a region, and that's why it is very important for planning as well. Before I close down and before I tell you how interesting in geography we are going to make, let me give you another example. India fought with Pakistan in 1971, and that was the Bangladesh Liberation War. So at that point of time, our then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi called our General Sam Manekshaw and asked Sam Manekshaw whether it was during April of 1971. Okay, and Indira Gandhi asked Sam Manekshaw, can we go to war in East Pakistan, because the situation was getting out of control and there was a huge refugee influx into the Indian states of Assam, West Bengal and all. So Sam Manekshaw stood there and told Indira Gandhi that we are completely unprepared to go to war, and he gave two geographical regions. First, because it was April, the snow lines were falling. That's why the Chinese could easily enter India, because the valley is clear now. So we can be fighting a two-front war, which can be avoided if you go into the war in winter. The second answer is, when it rains in Bangladesh, then it was East Pakistan, when it rains there, it pours there. That means it is going to be heavily flooded. And because of this, the troop movements, the vehicle movements that we are going to deploy as Indians will be highly restrained. Will be not able to move our troops or move our arms, ammunitions swiftly. So that will backfire on us and we might lose the war. So these are the two geographical regions. Sam Manekshaw gave Indira Gandhi and advised her not to go to war at that point of time. Eventually, we went to war and we won the war. So, if we don't appraise the geography well, we might lose a winning war. That is what I am trying to tell you. So, in conclusion, what I am trying to say is, I am going to teach you geography that you have never read, because I take a lot of care to do the research, do the thinking, and make geography interesting, that no one else is going to care for, because I care for geography as an optional, and my objective will be, as I told you, to help you develop a geographical bent of mind. Your answer will stand out in the exam like no one else could emulate you, or your copy will be par excellence. So you don't have to second guess yourself once you enroll in our geography course. People say geography is an optional. It is not. It is a learning for life. Once you develop that learning, it is going to be there with you. Everything that you see, hear, listen, read will have a geographical perspective to it. So, join us in our geographical adventure and let's learn this optional and give this optional the due regard it deserves. And in our Geography for OPSC series, what we are going to do, we will be tailoring the geography according to the OPSC syllabus, and will extensively cover the Odisha geography as well. We will take previous year question discussions, there will be continuous test and everything, and you name it, and that feature will be there in that geography program. So, I welcome you all to join us in the Geography for OPSC series, and I assure you it is going to be the next level. You have and you no need to go for geography ever again in your entire life. Thank you.